INFJ. Accused of being creepy. Maybe 10,000 times. Focused intensity. Weird. Spooky. Freaky. Creepy. I'm not strange and overly intense. I'm an INFJ. You're weird, but you aren't alone.
And putting them in very interesting metaphors so that people can understand the complex topic. My teacher once put it as, you don't compare apples to oranges, you compare oranges to motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I've managed to make that work pretty well.
That's very poetic. It's almost cross-sensory metaphor. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's like when the poet says, and the dawn came up like thunder.
Oh,
okay, it's a visual. The dawn is a visual thing, but by saying it came up like thunder.
Like thunder, you can
like wow, it's powerful, it's potent.
Yeah,
you like to use more potent words.
I'm currently working with my intern right now. I'm having her highlight every time she says it is important that, or any variation of that. So that's one of them. The second is that I can connect. I understand numbers in a way, and I understand data and math and those hard things in a way that most people can if they're
that's when you're in your INTJ mode. You're a scientist and you can do abstract thinking, and you also and you're very good at pattern recognition. I could give you a string of numbers and you'd probably go, that's in the Fibonacci sequence, or that's a binary number. I
can almost do that. It's not. I'm not quite as good.
But what I'm saying is that's the kind of thing that would pop out at you where somebody else would be totally blind to it.
I pick up patterns very quickly, especially when they're written, or like thematically. I can follow a thread fairly well. I'm also very good at looking at. I'm very good at coming up with a strategy and coming up and looking at things from the top down. But because I spent so long in the tactical side as well, I know what is required to actually execute.
Yeah, you have the big picture. So that's the INFJ part of you is the big picture person. The INTJ part of you is called, in fact, the INFJ they call a mystic. Okay, I can role play that. And you when you're an INTJ, you're called a strategic mastermind. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who you
I recognize.
I know that those both sound grandiose, but that's who you are. Okay.
It's proving that I do what I say I can do, and then one of the things that pisses my people off is that I don't write for anybody internally. My processes don't please the people who pay me. They please the people who read my stuff or who consume my stuff.
Right.
Which means that it's easier for me to remove myself.
You should be self-employed. But here's the thing with people who are creative is that and this is in that letter that I just sent you, but there's only two kinds of jobs that will satisfy them. One is a world problem that is just huge. It'll take 3 lifetimes to solve, like hunger or cancer or something like that. The other one is to create a job that is so specialized and so multifaceted that you'll never get bored. And that's what I've done for me. Okay, what I'm doing is, I get involved with graphic design, I get involved with website design, I get technical stuff, evaluating plugins. It's all over the map. And so I don't get bored. And anything else that you would do, like working for somebody else, is going to ultimately be boring to you.
It's why that I negotiated. It's why I moved to the startup that I did, because I'm literally the second full-time hire. So I'm doing so many different things, I can't get bored.
Right.
And I have an equity share in it. So now I have skin in the game, which triggers it forces me into a corner that then also keeps me occupied, which is why I'm willing to shell out my own money for this, aside from the budget she gives me, as opposed to my previous job where I'd be like, the man he was making bank off of my work and had made it very clear that he would never share it with anybody in the company. So the problem with me for working on my own is discipline and paperwork.
Okay, the discipline thing falls. Do you procrastinate?
It's actually a depression and anxiety trigger for me if I miss a deadline and I procrastinate, but it's
Okay. Okay, so you have a perfectionistic bent, and if it's not perfect, you have anxiety.
Yep.
And then you get depressed because it doesn't measure up to your vision of what it was. Where everybody else thinks you're brilliant, but you don't. You don't.
That's creepy. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Well, I've been down this road. So, yeah. Well, the reason that is because you have a fantastic brain. Okay. So you feel things more intensely. It's like you're a pain amplifier. When things don't go right, you feel it a lot worse than everybody else.
I was describing that to Susanna because I've been on cloud 9 the last few days because of things that have gone wonderfully, wonderfully well. And then as soon as my intern is like, well, I can't possibly turn this out in the time that I said I would, I get incredibly angry, and it's just, it's not bipolar. It's just.
No, I used to get very angry too, and there's a reason. For one is I was abused as a child, which makes you angry.
Sensitive?
Makes you angry. It makes you sensitive too, but it makes you angry because you want to prove to the world that you have self-worth. And so it drives that perfectionistic.
I can see that.
So when I'm perfect, then people have to love me, right? Okay. So you're trying to buy love with perfection. It's hard. It's hard. I've been down that. But I used to, when I was young, in my 20s, they said that I had the personality profile of Genghis Khan. Okay. Because I was totally into Dominion. I had a bunch of companies and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. But money was where it was at for me. But yeah, plainly, you know that that's not true.
Money is a marker of respect. How much you're willing to pay me and what you're willing to financially compensate me with is how much I am valued to you. Yeah. And in that sense, it's a respect token for me.
For me, money is an exchange of energy. My personal energy has gone into what we just did. You gave me money and I gave you my energy, right? Yep. But you had to take your energy to get that first money, right? You had to take that's what what money really is. Anyway, I just think you're amazing.
Aw. I really like talking with you. This is more fun than I thought it would be, and it was much less painful than I thought it would be. And I want to continue talking with you at some later time.
We're going to. We're allies now.
You're unpredictable. Men probably think you're pretty cool. You are super intelligent, but it also makes for super problems because everything is amplified for you. You're a sensitive person. When we care about somebody, we care about them deeply. And because of our personality types, we're willing to take on their pain plus some. It has a price. But I miss you. I miss talking to you. I'm glad we're getting to talk right now. You're not afraid to take on hard problems and look for solutions. You defy the odds. You're radically independent and I love you for it. It makes you, you. Mostly you're driven by your desire to be worthy. You are worthy. I know that's something plaguing you. It plagued me all my life. Am I good enough? Yeah. We're not just sensitive emotionally. It's like we're physically sensitive. You know. We're aware of things. We see things, we hear things that other people sometimes don't notice. It's kind of like an artistic bent. It's your gift and a curse too, though, isn't it? Because you feel their pain and it's hard to let go of it. And you want to help them. You want solitude more than any other type personality. It's critical to you. And here you are, never alone. Wow. Talk about torture. You want to experience the energy of peace. Instead it's go, go, go. But, anyway, I relate to what you're going through and I admire you, really do. You're amazing. You're just such a good example of perseverance and tenacity and courage, really. I appreciate it. You're one of my mentors. And we're remodeling, so it reminds me of when you and I were remodeling. That was epic, you know, it makes me laugh. We were both laughing, you know? Like, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. What are we doing up here? My strength was running out and you're breaking off drill bits. Remember? It was like, oh my gosh, can this get any weirder? So, you're trying to balance that board on your head while I'm changing out a drill bit. Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Anyway, remodeling reminds me of when you and we had a lot of talks that were good for you and good for me. I really miss those. You and I can go to places I can't talk about with other people. They think I'm an idiot or a lunatic, you know? But I can talk about it with you. And you go, oh, yeah, I've had that. And so I miss that. Memories are a bittersweet thing. I feel great affection for you and at the same time I miss you horribly. That's the big empty, you know. Where you're missing someone. You're in a happy moment, you still slide down. You go, oh, they're not here. And I miss you.